This episode is brought to you by the Ultimate Girls Trip. Here is our reoccurring daydream. Us at a drool-worthy pool, surrounded by our business besties. We just finished a powerful exercise on building our dream lives and executing our business goals. Join us if you are ready to be celebrated for taking up space, to feel purposeful, and to live a life of fulfillment. Go to proofitspossible.com for more info. Welcome to Proof It's Possible. Jamie and I are multifaceted entrepreneurs, the founders of the Ultimate Girls Trip, and the hosts of Proof It's Possible. Jamie and I are also sisters, best friends, and complete opposites, but somehow we always manage to stay on the same team. Join us every week to hear our thoughts on all things entrepreneurship, friendship, family, pop culture, and more.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Proof It's Possible. Today we have a very exciting guest, Michelle Weber, and she is the founder and creator of Sonder, which is a vegan and cruelty-free deodorant brand and expanding. So potential new products coming soon, but I'm personally obsessed with her deodorant. It is top-notch and chemical-free, safe for preteens, safe for my kids, safe for me, and works so good. Smells delicious. So tell us about just a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
You could say that I've done a little bit of everything throughout my life, and from political work, because that's what I did my degree in, to flight attending, to everything, and started off my entrepreneurial journey in events as a wedding and event planner in the Okanagan in BC. That was a great way to start. It was, really risk-free, low overhead, and we're a very busy wedding destination. So it really taught me a lot of kind of the basics of business in terms of, the customer service and just the general runnings of a business. And from there, moved into another kind of event hospitality business, a mobile oyster bar. And I really wasn't looking to start another business. I was doing those two simultaneously, as well as working full-time in nonprofit. And it just kind of naturally happened. I'm really a big believer, in ethical, cruelty-free products. And I started digging into that little bunny logo on the back of the bottles and learned that it was really just kind of a marketing ploy. So I started doing tons of digging and slowly switching all of our products over, which takes a lot of effort. But deodorant was one that I could not find that was actually cruelty-free, that actually worked, didn't cause like a horrible irritation, and was healthy. And I was working, 18, 19-hour days, literally running in the 35, 40-degree heat in the Okanagan. It was a deal breaker. It had to work. So typical female
Questions I have is how did you go from being like, I need some deodorant that's cruelty free, to being like, I'm gonna just create it myself? How did you even know where to start?
Exactly. That would be the type A cruelty-free. The type A entrepreneur ADHD brain is, I can't sit and do one thing at a time. So my husband and I, if we were watching a movie, I'm typically like on my phone doing something, or on my computer, and I just started looking for a deodorant, and then looking, what does it take to start a deodorant? Where are the manufacturers in Canada? And all of a sudden I just looked at my husband and said, I think I'm starting another business. And he said, of course you are. Doing what? And I'm like, cruelty-free deodorant. And he's like, of course you are. So now I need to use that natural crap. And I said, well, yeah. And now he loves it more than the name brand that shall not be named that he used to use before, that was full of chemicals. And so really, I'm just that person. I leap before I look, and I know that I can find the answers. Like, we have the internet. It's amazing.
Yes.
You can find the answers. I knew I didn't want to make it myself. I didn't want to start trying to create potions. I don't have a chemistry background. So I looked for manufacturers here in BC or Canada, because it was kind of just post-COVID, it was right during COVID. Very few answers and responses. People were busy making hand sanitizer. I started off manufacturer at Edmonton and worked really hand in hand for 3 years. And then, unfortunately, they ended up going out of business after 25 years, right before we launched in business. It was a hard way to start, but and they kind of rushed the manufacturing process to get the product out the door. It was a very large order to make sure that we could come to a good price point. So there was a lot of like peddling, figuring things out, fixing things right from the get-go. And now our product is even better than it would have been originally.
So are you currently the manufacturer of it then, or who does it now?
We bought it in-house for now. Yeah. I keep saying for now, but the more that we work, the more I think there's an opportunity, because one of our big pillars is accessibility and inclusion. And inclusion goes beyond race, culture, sexual orientation, gender. Inclusion to me, because of my background and because I have a sister who has a disability, is people with disabilities. And there's a lot of people out there with a cognitive disability who have aspirations. They want to have these careers that we want. They want to be able to be creative and do awesome things. They don't want to be a greeter at a big box chain store or sort recycling, be a janitor. And there's not much beyond that. And so there's a lot of people out there who have cognitive disabilities, but this amazing ability to focus and do things that people, neurotypicals, for instance, wouldn't be as good at, like formulating cosmetics products or body care products and coming up with creative solutions. So the more we think about it, maybe we want to keep it in-house and create a really cool ability to hire awesome, different-minded people who can do things differently than we would.
For sure. So cool. I love that.
How did you come up with the smells? Because I will say, I was like, no, I can't do that. And my reason is because my luggage got lost a few Christmases ago. Mm-hmm. So I was relying on all my mom's products for like a week. And I had to wear her natural deodorant that was repulsive.
At the time. And it was not Sonder brand. So let's just.
No, this is a long time ago. And so I kind of had it in my head that I was like, this is terrible. I'm never doing this. Like, I'm sticking with the won't name brand that I'm comfortable with. And then when I finally met you and like got a bottle of, or like a stick of your deodorant, I was like, this smells delicious. It works. It's not all like slimy wet. Like, it had the right texture. It was all the things that I was looking for. And I'm like, okay, she's actually cracked the code. Like, this is different. This is a totally different thing. And so how do you come up with those delicious smells? Because I bought the travel pack recently to just smell everyone and see what one I like the best. And they're all equally as delicious. Like, I'd wear the man's one or the like male scent.
Oh yeah, that's how we've changed the name actually to Cedarwood Whiskey, so that women don't think they can't use it because they love it. It just kind of, I would say, it smells like British Columbia. That fresh, like kind of outdoorsy smell. Yeah. So one of our slogans is "Make clean mainstream."
Yes.
Zero shade to the essential oily girls out there who love essential oils. I hate the smell of essential oils. Not my jam. Nothing against it. Good for you. That's awesome. I was the girl before I started learning about what's in our products that would reach for, like, smell everyone and pick the best smelling one. I didn't care what the ingredients were. Like, it wasn't where I was. I'm a very smell driven person. I want to smell good. I love coconut. So our first smell is coconut jasmine.
Still my favorite.
Wearing it today.
My favorite too. I love anything coconut.
I'm wearing it right now.
It's like in the summer, it matches summer. In the winter, it makes you feel like you're on vacation.
Exactly.
So it was very important to me that we were a naturally derived plant-based brand. It was not my first priority to be a 100% all natural product. It needed to be non-toxic, healthy, safe. It had to be cruelty-free, and it had to be good for the environment. We have science. It's 2025. We have some brilliant minds out there who have created amazing things that are very effective, very healthy, even safer than some of the things that we find in nature, because 100% natural does not mean 100% all good. So for me, it was important that mainstream people want to reach on the shelf and have a product that they're used to. So that same kind of deodorant they've been using that isn't greasy, or you don't have to use, like weird ways of wearing deodorant, or that you have to reapply every 5 seconds, or that it smells different than you're used to. So we just kind of really nailed down our deal breakers and then went into kind of smells. And I'm always driven towards those like tropical smells. And I'm like, okay, Michelle, we need to also think of people that aren't you that are purchasing deodorant. And, we really made some shifts and things like that. Like our sandalwood vanilla lime, we ended up moving it over to all natural fragrances. So that somebody who really is, I don't care what you say, I don't care what your certifications are, how healthy you are, I want all natural. There you go. So there's an option for that person as well, but really trying to kind of like hit the spectrum, like fruity and tropical, a little bit more earthy, and kind of just listening to what people say too is a big one.
Yeah. Well, that's great because they smell so good.
Well, and like, why don't you just share with the listeners what the current 4 smells are?
So the number one, which was the first smell we came up with, is coconut jasmine. Again, I love all things coconut, and I like to smell like the beach. Number 2 is pineapple bergamot. So a little bit more citrusy, kind of fresh, zesty, and energizing. Number 3 is that more kind of earthy, essential oil forward scent. So sandalwood, vanilla, and lime. But that vanilla kind of gives it a creamy, sweet scent. And the most recent that we came up with, that was called Man Smell. And it was called that because when we were doing our research, we would ask all of our friends, we had a list of questions about like your priorities, really. And one of those questions was, what smells do you enjoy? And women were really detailed. Like, I like soft linen floating on the breeze with a hint of lavender. Whereas every man, I don't care what walk of life they came from, whether it was a judge, a lawyer, a construction worker, it didn't matter. I don't know. Well, like man smell. So as a yolk, we called it Man Smell, and it's cedar wood, which is like we blend our scents, right? So our cedar wood is an essential oil, but we also use botanicals, like natural botanicals and safe European standard synthetics to come up with like the mainstream scents people enjoy. So the other scent is whiskey. So we found that so many of our women that use Sonder fell in love with it, but they're like, is it different? Can we use it? I'm like, okay, so our next round of packaging, we'll call it cedarwood whiskey.
Yeah.
I love them all. They're all so good. Like if you get the combo pack, like I like to get, you get to use them all for like whatever season of life you're in. So some days I'm like, ooh, I feel coconutty. Like it's a beautiful day outside and I want to do that. And then other days,
like perfume.
Yeah.
That's how I've been using mine. I'm like,
people have been asking for it, like a hair and body kind of thing or something maybe.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And on your note, Jamie, those combo packs, so people are looking because they want to try a few. Our deodorants have a 2-year shelf life. So if you want to get multiple to try and find your best scent, it's not like you have to use them in 3 months or else they'll go bad. So you've got 2 years to go through them.
Well, and they last a very long time. I've noticed they last forever, which is so nice because you don't have to replenish them as often, but then you feel really good about the value that you're getting. Like, because it's like, the price matches the amount of time that you're going to use it for. So I really appreciate that.
That's business plan in hindsight, but that was the goal. Accessibility was important. I have a single mother, and if our focus on clean and natural and healthy products had been what it like back in the day when I was a teenager needing to start using deodorant, she would have been gutted not being able to buy me the $35 deodorants because she couldn't have. And so at $19 for our full size that lasts well over 3 months, I feel proud and happy doing that because I know that it's accessible to most people who are looking for those.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
For sure.
So for anyone who's listening, who's like, got this dream on their heart and this idea that they've come up with, or, something that they're just passionate about. You were looking for natural, cruelty-free deodorant and you couldn't find what you were looking for. If there's somebody like you listening, can you give any advice on how you have, like what you needed to do as far as your mindset shift to just go for it?
I think that's the first thing is luckily for me, I've never been a person that asks a million people's opinions. I think that's number one. Maybe if you really feel like you need a second opinion, find that one person who's your closest, but keep in mind, they want to keep you safe. So they might not have the best answer. And so if you are truly like passionate and driven, just make the decision. Don't ask people's opinion. Tell them what you're doing. I've never you read those books or you hear the podcast and you hear, so many people told me, what are you doing? What are you doing? I can tell you, I've never had one person say that to me because I didn't give them the choice.
Right.
You open the door to that abilities. What's that?
You didn't open the door for the conversation to even happen. You just told people what you're doing confidently.
Yeah. And so everyone is my biggest cheerleaders. And honestly, it's none of my business what they say behind closed doors. I could care less.
Exactly.
So in my face, I'll take it at face value. Yeah. Listen to yourself. Honestly, do the research, but don't wait until your ducks are in a row. Don't wait until you know every little thing. You'll learn it. And because a lot of things you think you've learned beforehand, you're going to learn differently as you're doing it. So just go for it.
Exactly.
Start learning, meeting people, look for experts. Just do your thing.
Well, and not to minimize like other people's businesses, including my own, because mine are service-based businesses. But I feel there's like a level of hardness to a product-based business that there's even more to learn. There's shipping, there's packaging, there's formulating, there's developing, there's manufacturing. Like there's all the other steps that, if I'm just providing a service, I can email you out the document, or I can have the phone call and make you the website. Like I don't have to find the right plastic, to like send it out in, and I don't have to figure out how to ship it across the world and do all those things, because you are a worldwide company. Like you ship to Europe, you ship wherever people are wanting your products. So
we actually had our first order from UK last week.
Exactly.
There you go.
Figured out stuff that is
from
very
back as you, Dale, like of service business. Big learning curve that continues on. We'll be 3 in November. And even still, it's always evolving because, the world evolves. So tariffs and different kind of rules and laws and costs going up and down. It's definitely a learning curve, and you just go with it and keep learning.
You're amazing.
I love that. Okay, so I know you have some very exciting things coming up. So can you tell us, and we don't want you to like do the big reveal, but can you just give us a little bit of what we can expect from Sonder in the future?
Of course. So I've always been the belief I'm not going to keep just throwing new products out there because we want them to be intentional. Like, why are they here? Why are we putting them out? Is it because they're on TikTok and they're trending, or is it because it's a product that will be evergreen? Like, when COVID hit and I had my 2 event businesses, my husband said, you need a pandemic-proof company. And I feel like everybody always needs deodorant. So that's the mindset we've been sticking with all along. We're not just going to keep dropping products. So, so we've got 3 exciting things happening after, not a ton of newness in 3 years. Like we got a new scent, a couple of limited edition things. So in early July, we'll have our 5th permanent scent. And that is honestly based off of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of our customers' really excited feedback. So that might be a bit of a hint, but that'll be our new scent will be launching in July. Shortly after, like really shortly after, we've got a new product variant coming out. And I'm not telling you guys this on purpose because we have a launch plan. And then finally, we don't have an exact date yet, but late summer, we have a brand new product line. Going to be very exciting. So lots of stuff going on. It's keeping us all on our toes. And again, every new product that comes out, it's a whole new learning curve. So yeah, lots of super exciting stuff coming.
That's amazing. Okay, so what is let's just throw it out to the universe. What is your dream for Sonder? If there's anybody who's listening that can maybe be that missing puzzle piece or anything, just lay it out on the table. What is your dream? Either, like an immediate dream or one that's 10 years down the road for this business.
One. Like I said, our slogan is make clean mainstream. So we want to be mainstream. We want to be the brand of deodorant, of X product, whatever that might be, whatever comes out, that when you see our logo, you know that what we are promising you and what we are saying is true. And so we want to be in the major stores. We want to be that one that people reach to, that they know they're getting a great value, they're getting what they've asked for, and they can feel proud of their purchase because they know that they're purchasing an ethical product that will not sell out as we grow. So we put a clause in our shareholder agreement that we will never sell Sonder, if we do sell Sonder, to a parent company that doesn't adhere to the exact same standards as we do. And we listed them out. So no matter how big Sonder becomes, and that's the goal, is to be mainstream. So in those nationwide, international, worldwide chains, whatever, we will always maintain why we started.
Amazing.
I love that.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, if you are a small, medium, or large size store who this feels in alignment with you, reach out to Michelle because she would love to do a trial of selling in your store. Yeah. Get this to more people.
Yeah. And Michelle, can you tell everyone, any listeners, how they can reach you?
So we are in about 130 stores across Canada and a couple in the US as well. And you can also order direct. So our website is Sonder, Sondr, fresh.com. You can either order directly through us, free shipping on orders over $50, or if you scroll right to the bottom, our store locator map is there. We're also on Instagram and Facebook at Sonder, Sondr Fresh.
Amazing.
Okay, I have one more question for you before we let you go. What would you say? You were one of our Ultimate Girls Trip girls, and what would you say
is it's not past tense?
Yes, is. But our last one she attended, and we loved her.
Yes.
What was your proof it's possible moment, or what is yours in your story in your life on that weekend? You know, anything you'd like to share with us?
My proof. Oh my gosh, I feel like I have so many, but I think just on that weekend, I didn't go in there realizing how impactful it would be and how your connections can happen just like that. And how when you make your squad or your group, anything is possible. And then that you have to be picky. You can't just settle for your group of friends. So if you have friends who don't have the same aspirations and dreams, don't dump them, but pick differently, because the two of you, especially, we went out for dinner and there was a Sephora there, and you made me go and get like 6 photos in front of that Sephora to manifest what I want and how we want to grow. And that moment, amongst many, many others, made me realize, if you pick your group right and you keep going and you don't quit and you share and you're open and vulnerable, because that's hard, just let yourself get there and keep surrounding yourself, because I got back from that trip and it was like definitely a cracking open kind of moment. And I got sick. You guys saw I got sick for about a month, and I was really not able to push and grow, push my brand. And things tipped and went crazy while I couldn't even do anything to push it forward. So I always say I'm listening to the universe, and it tells me when I'm going in the right direction. And so, there was a few conversations that were had that weekend that I was like, oh my God, anything is literally possible with the right people in your corner and the right mindset as well. So, yeah.
Yes to all of that. And I love that the orders just are pouring in for you, because it's the best deodorant on the planet. So we're so excited for you. What's that?
So grateful for you.
He's changing the world with it. Yeah. It's a whole new thing, in my opinion.
One pit at a time.
Yeah.
One smelly armpit at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today. And if you haven't started using Sonder, go on her website right now and order yourself. Do yourself a favor and order some. We loved having you.
I appreciate you guys so much.
Take care.
Okay, bye, Michelle.
Bye, you guys.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
We are so grateful you're here.
It would mean the world to us if you'll subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel and leave us a review.
If you want to hear more from us, go to proofitspossible.com to join our mailing list and find our social links so you don't miss a thing.
Thanks, and chat next time.